YouTube, it's Bethany from Madeline Jean Antiques and Restoration. In today's video, Biscuit's along for the ride. He wants to be down here in the basement and this is the only way I can corral him, and he likes to stay warm, so in the pouch he goes. In this tutorial, I'm going to be talking all about what do I use specifically when it comes to distressing painted pieces of furniture. I did a tutorial not too long ago where I believe I just used 150 grit sandpaper, and I didn't go into detail of all the different things that I use when I distress furniture. Because sometimes I want to go with a heavier distressed look or a lighter distressed look. So if you are just getting into painting furniture and you want to know the best way to distress furniture, you want to watch this video. So let's get started. Okay, you guys, we are on the other side of my workshop, kind of where all the magic happens. I am going to go through all the tools that I use when it comes to distressing furniture. And see, as soon as I start talking, Biscuit, hey, we're sitting down. We got to stand now. Come on. I forgot a couple things over here that I also use for distressing. So it gives me a good excuse to get up and grab those. Because as soon as I start talking, Biscuit thinks it's time to jump out of the pouch. You gonna stay? You have to be good while I do this, okay? And you cannot wander downstairs here in the basement. No, you cannot. Okay, you guys, if you are new to restoring furniture, let's quickly just talk about what is distressing. So distressing is when you remove any of the paint from the furniture. Seems kind of counterproductive, but when you're restoring antique furniture, a lot of people like adding the distressed look for a couple of reasons. They just want to add more character to the piece, and sometimes they just want to add more depth. More depth means, like, for example, behind me is this large ornate dresser that I'm working on, and I've painted it white, but it's just like, it's so white. So I will be distressing it along the edges just to add a little more depth and character to the piece. Also, people are trying to, when they restore antique furniture, you're trying to make it look antique-y. And that means over time, it would get banged into, nicked around. So people try to replicate that by distressing it naturally as much as possible. Now, there's two different looks to distressing. You've probably seen them. I call it more of like the chunky distressed, where it's really distressed. Like you can see that someone took a sander to the top, to the sides. It looks like it's been thrown down the stairs and that it lived in a house full of like 15 kids. I'm not personally the biggest fan of like the chunky distressed look. I like more of the natural look where it's just lightly distressed along just like the edges. I'm not a big fan of distressing the top of the piece or, you know, like the sides to a piece of furniture. Again, that's just me. So I'm gonna go into what do I personally use to distress furniture. So let's start with that. I wanted to show you a close-up of this table that I'm working on right now. I'm going to show you the first thing that I usually use when it comes to distressing furniture. This is probably what I use the most when it comes to distressing furniture. I have a felt block like this. You can find these on Amazon or a woodworking store. And then I wrap sandpaper around the felt block. Now this is a quarter portion of a sheet of sandpaper. This is 150 grit. This is probably the most common grit that I use when it comes to distressing furniture. I feel like it's a nice middle ground when it comes to grits. It takes off just enough, not too much. And I find that I've just had the best results with this grit. So that's why I use that. So I wrap the sandpaper around the felt block. This way it gives me a lot of control and it's flat. As opposed to if I had it wrapped around my fingers, I would have uneven pressure, and I don't want that. I want nice even pressure when I distress, and I just go along like this, and that's how I created this distressed look here. Okay, not too much, not too little. I also took it along the sides of this piece. So when I distress, I usually go along, like if there's ornate crevices, areas like this, I want them to pop out. So I'll distress along those. And then I distress along every edge of the piece of furniture, along all the legs, along all the curves of the piece of furniture. So a felt block with sandpaper wrapped around it, that's probably my most common way to distress furniture. Let's go on to my second most favorite way to distress furniture. Okay, you guys, here's my next favorite thing. How I like to distress furniture is this little contraption here. I'm sure there's some formal name to it. I don't know what it is, but you just put the sandpaper, you clip it on here, and here, the handle turns. So you have different ways of putting it against your furniture. I love this contraption just because the ease of use of it. And I can distress something super fast. So I will use this along straight lines that are really long. For example, that dresser behind me, I will definitely be using this tool on it. So I'll just go right down there and right down there on that side, and I'll also use it along the edge there. And what's great about this is you can put any grit of sandpaper that you like on it, and you can distress super fast. And that's what I love about it. So I can go along an edge and just go and it will be done. So I love this little guy. So I use this quite a bit, and you can find this at any of your hardware stores. It's made by 3M and it's not that expensive. So that's my second favorite. Now we're gonna go on to my third favorite way to distress furniture. Okay, another favorite way I like to distress furniture is with this little tool. This, again, I don't know what these are called, but they're my little doohickeys when it comes to distressing furniture. So the sandpaper, it comes in like little strips like this. It Velcros onto this little guy. And this is 120 grit, these little strips here. And so you just put them on like that. And what's great about these little guys, they can get into little areas that you can't get into either with your felt block and sandpaper or with my other larger tool that I use with distressing. So I love these little guys because I can get around little ornate areas and get in there and really get the distress look as natural as possible for me. So I love these guys. They come, I believe you get like a package of the strips. So the strips come with the tool. You can get these at any of your hardware stores, or you can order it on Amazon. So I love using these. And then I also have some just various little attachments. I used to have like a little mouse sander when I first started restoring furniture. I've moved past the mouse sander, but what I have found is it came with all these little attachments, and I've kept them over the years because a lot of the sandpaper that Velcros on can stick to these. So I have like various little attachments like these. Some of them have like a curve to them. Some of them have like an edge like that. And these help as well when I need to get into a tight spot or around an edge that I can't get into. So I love these. So I've kept these over the years, and I keep using them when it comes to distressing my painted pieces. So there you guys have it. That's how I distress furniture. I do not use a sander. I know some people do. I prefer not to because it becomes an issue of control. If I have an orbital sander, I feel like I don't have much control over how much paint I'm removing. So I would rather remove less at a time and just kind of keep going at it than a big chunk of paint come off. I've had that happen. So I've learned through the years that I'd rather just do it by hand when it comes to distressing furniture. And also, I know a lot of people ask me, when do you distress? I always distress after I've painted a piece of furniture. I always make sure that it has dried overnight, and then I will distress the next day, and then I apply my top coat. So for example, that fork and spoon that I worked on, I have not waxed these yet. Yeah, I know, shame on me. Life has gotten away from me. I need to do that. So I brought them down here. I am waxing them tonight. But I painted them, I distressed them, and then I'll wax them. The reason why I go in that order is the areas where I took off the paint and the wood is exposed, I do want those areas protected. So I'll either use as a top coat over my painted pieces. I either use clear wax, some wax of some sort, or I use a water-based top coat like polyacrylic. So those are the top coats I usually use over my painted pieces of furniture. I really hope this video has been informative and relatively short when it comes to showing you what tools I use when it comes to distressing painted furniture. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do. I usually show tutorials on anything and everything when it comes to restoring antique and vintage furniture, and I hope my videos are informative for a lot of people. If you are following me, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And hopefully I will keep posting videos. I've had a little lapse here because of the holidays. I think it's been a month since my last video. Shame on me. But I'm gonna get right back into it. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. It's a red button in the right-hand corner. You can't miss it. And I will see you guys soon. If you want to see final photos of this table that I'm working on and this dresser, please go to my Instagram. It's at bethany.yusuf, right here. There it is. Or you can follow me on Facebook. I have a business page that I post all my before and after photos and show you what's changing for me and what inventory I'm bringing in. And you can find that at here, Madeline Jean Antiques and Restoration. Until next time, you guys. See you later. And Biscuit says, whoops! Toodaloo as I show you my belly button. Bye, guys.